Ed decided to run for the Senate, and we were the first union to endorse him. I'm proud to say that a few years ago, we became the first union to endorse Ed in his 2020 re-election campaign, when he was facing a primary challenge from a member of a well-known political family here in Massachusetts. In both cases, we knew it was the right choice, and we never looked back. And Ed has proven us right time and time again. When he received a new Senate committee assignment, the Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, one of the first things Ed did was convene a meeting in his Boston office with labor leaders from around the state. He didn't do much talking at the meeting because he wanted to listen and learn. He wanted to know our concerns and priorities so he could carry them directly to what is perhaps the most important committee for labor in the entire Senate. You know, a lot of elected leaders say the right things when it comes to respecting workers' rights to organize and collectively bargain. But Senator Markey is someone who backs up his words with actions, someone who leads by example. 2020 had made union history in Massachusetts when his re-election campaign team became the first statewide campaign to form a union. And the first contract was quickly reached and ratified. At the time, Ed said, I quote, "The Markey for Senate campaign is worker-powered, and our campaign's values are union values. This agreement reflects our continued commitment to live those values every day." A few years after that unionized campaign, staff helped Ed defeat Joe Kennedy by a decisive 10-point margin. Ed would make the national union history when his U.S. Senate staff became the first in the country to form a union. There was no election needed because Ed immediately agreed to voluntary recognition, stating, and I quote again, "I applaud these passionate, dedicated workers who are exercising their right to organize through its fundamental critical exercise in democracy." Sisters and brothers, I could go on, but I think these actions alone tell us all we need to know about Ed. So please join me in giving a big AFSCME Council 93 welcome to United States Senator Ed Markey.
Wow, thank you. Thank you all so much. Thanks for having me here today. Happy Veterans Day. How many of you are veterans? Wow, thank you. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you all so much for all that you have done to protect our country. And thank you for having me here today. Thank you, Mark Bernard. I'm with you. Unions they're marching. You know, they're getting better, and you're leading this incredible effort across the country. Right now, unions are polling more favorable than they have in 50 years in our country, because people are coming to recognize who you are, what you do every single day, and the need for you to be able to receive the protections, the health care, the pay, which you need for your families, even as you work for families all across our region and all across the country. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Jim Durkin. And thank you all for everything you do, because every time I run for re-election, there's a sea of green shirts that come out to help me to win my elections. And I wouldn't miss this convention. I put it on my calendar every single year so that I can be here with this incredible union that keeps endorsing me first before any other union every time I run. And to a large extent, that's a reflection of the fact that my father was a union vice president, and he always told me, Eddie, you can't beg for your rights, you have to take them. And that's what unions are doing in our country, all across all of the different segments of labor in our nation, and the leadership that you've received over all of these years because of the exceptional career of Charlie Owen has been an incredible moment. Because when you look up labor leader in the dictionary, Charlie's picture pops up, because Charlie's career is an inspiration to all of us. He has served his country from almost the moment that he turned age 18 as a member of the armed services, in public service, as a union activist. He is a Renaissance man in the service of our country, a union man. Everywhere he goes, everything he does, he looks for ways to serve others. And when he was a game day employee for the Boston Red Sox, and our good luck charm when we won all those pennants, he ran his own charitable golf tournament, raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Jimmy Fund to fight for childhood and adult cancer. And in every undertaking, in every situation, in every moment, Charlie is in service to improving the world for all of those who are around him. And for decades, Charlie has been fighting the good fight for organized labor. As a labor advocate, Charlie learned to negotiate contracts, to stand up for his members at work, to solve complicated workplace problems, to help elect pro-union candidates to office, and to persuade elected officials to pass laws that would help working families. He has dedicated his career to fighting for these things we hold sacred: the need for a living wage, decent health insurance, safe working conditions, a dignified retirement. Charlie, thank you for your more than 40 years of service to all of us. You have created incredible change in the world, and I wish you the best in your well-earned retirement. I entered a tribute to you into the congressional record in Washington, D.C. And this is a permanent acknowledgement of the profound and lasting impact that you have made on the union movement. And I give you that as a memento and in gratitude. So thank you all. Thank you all. You've always had my back. And it's a little bit chaotic down in Washington, D.C. right now. The Republicans have changed speakers more often than Donald Trump has changed courtrooms that he has to appear in. It's a crazy time right now. But in reality, we've got a chance to really continue this historic progress which we have been making in our country. As you've heard, I gave up being on the Foreign Relations Committee to be on the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, because that's where the action is. That's where the lives of Americans are going to be determined on every single day. And I am now the chairman of the Health Subcommittee for the United States Senate. I'm the chairman of Health. And so there, and I know so many of you work in the health sector as well. There we have to continue to ensure that the funding is maintained, increased, and the working conditions get better and better as the years go by. That's going to be my job, but also to protect pensions, also to ensure that we get the PRO Act put on the books so that it's easier to organize all across our country. It is absolutely imperative that we get that done. And so many other things that we know that ordinary American families will need help with. And the good news is that unions are winning. The UAW has won. The UAW forced Chrysler and Ford and General Motors to give them the benefits which they were fighting for. Hollywood has been brought to its knees by the writers and directors, by all of these workers who are out there making sure that there is a fairer share of all of the benefits that are coming to those big corporations. Well, they have to go to the workers as well. And as AI gets into the workplace, we have to make sure that AI stands for all included. that everyone gets the benefit as AI gets into every single part of our workplace. And that's what a lot of these negotiations are about. Although UPS workers won, they were out there, they fought, they won. So it's just an indication of all of the incredible progress that is being made all across this country by union after union. And AFSCME has always been at the forefront of making sure that its workers get what they need for their families as they provide for everyone else's family on a daily basis. AFSCME workers are essential workers. AFSCME workers are workers that have to show up every single day. AFSCME workers are the workers that had to get more exposed to COVID than other workers in our society, because AFSCME workers are the workers who make sure that the society continues to operate even at the worst, most challenging time. So this is, from my perspective, the union that's out there, closest to the people, closest to the issues that have to be dealt with in our society, and I thank you for this. Now, this coming week, the Republicans are going to try to shut down the American government. This is the promise that new Speaker Mike Johnson has made to Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene. They didn't think that Speaker McCarthy was conservative enough. So they had to find someone, an obscure, right-wing, conservative, Bible-thumping. He says that when they asked him about the Constitution, he said everything you need to know about the Constitution is in the Bible. And as we know, the Bible does not talk about OSHA. The Bible does not talk about Medicare or Medicaid. The Bible does not talk about all of the other benefits which the labor movement has fought to put on the books for all of these years. But the Bible does speak quite clearly in one specific set of passages when Jesus gets very, very detailed. Blessed are the poor. Blessed are the sick. Blessed are the elderly. Blessed are the children. You know what that is? That's Medicare. That's Medicaid. That's Head Start. That's women, infant, and children. That's making sure that nursing homes are there. That's making sure Medicaid can provide for people in our society. Yeah, it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. And the Bible are the lives that all of you live every single day. And they're going to try to cut all those programs. They're going to say, we're shutting down the federal government unless those programs are cut. And nothing ticked them off more than having all that federal money that went to all the states, all the cities, all of the counties all across the country during COVID. That's what kept people employed. That's what kept people on the job. That's what kept all the services continuing to be provided. And as part of this, they're going to say, we want to reclaim any unspent money. We can't have any more of that money trickling down into cities and towns, into municipalities, into government agencies all across the country. So this battle's about to unfold over the next week. And their hardliners are in control of their party, and we're going to make sure that we win and they lose. That's going to be what it's all about. And there's one reason that we know that's going to happen, because you're right and they're wrong, okay? In terms of the role that you and all of your compatriots play every single day in providing services for Americans all across our country. So all I can continue to say to you is just keep it up. You can't agonize, you gotta organize. You gotta organize. And that's what AFSCME has always been all about. Joe Biden, he got the CHIPS Act passed. He got a huge infrastructure bill passed, transportation projects all across the state of Massachusetts. He was able to get a huge climate bill passed. Those are union jobs all across Massachusetts, all across New England, all across the country. The Republicans harbor an ancient animosity towards all of these programs. They want them all gone. They want them all eliminated. The Republican paradox is they don't believe in government, but they have to run for office in order to make sure the government doesn't work. And what's their goal? 1 year from today, in November of 2024, Donald Trump is president, they control the House of Representatives, and they take over the United States Senate. Then they'll make sure the government doesn't work. Then they'll make sure these programs are cut, and cut permanently. So that's what this next year is going to be all about. It's going to be a referendum on what you do every single day, the services that you provide, the work that you do. And so all I can tell you is, we got to be up, we got to be going, and from Lee Saunders all the way down to every one of you, AFSCME is always at the forefront. AFSCME is always there, leading the way. So I thank you, Mark, I thank you, Charlie, I thank you, Jim, I thank everybody who is here, Jack, and Nancy, and Tiger, and all of you, everything that all of you do every single day is going to be essential for us to be successful. Just know this, that this new Republican leadership in the Senate, if you kick them in the heart, you break your toe. They just don't care. They don't care about what the implications are for the cuts that they're going to make in people's lives. And one other thing, Donald Trump is going to run on a platform of saying that we're going to make America great again by making America hate again. And we know what he's talking about. He's talking about black families, brown families, immigrant families, those that are working hard every single day, and he wants to divide our country. And if there's any union that symbolizes the unity of our nation, the equality for which we try to aspire every single day, it is AFSCME. So thank you for everything that you are doing. I promise you that I'm going to have your back the whole way, that you have always had my back, and I just want to conclude by thanking, once again, the great Charlie Owen for everything that he has done. All organized